Today's video is sponsored by Lustre. The explosion of custom keyboard content everywhere you look is really putting the squeeze on pre-builds in terms of expectation. If you're gonna do a pre-built right now, you really have to bring something fresh or unique to the space, and the ROG Falchion is trying to do exactly that. You ready? Let's go! Priced at $149.99 US, the ROG Falchion is a wireless 65% with PBT caps and a touch panel from ASUS. ASUS did send this out to me for review. I was not compensated in any way, and they didn't see any portion of this video before you did, which evidently I have to say on every video now, so people don't think I'm a paid spokesperson. You're just too good. You're too good at this. Confession, this is my first ROG product, and the thing that jumped out at me right away was the design language. Love it or hate it, it's unmistakable, and it's everywhere, except really on the face of the board itself. It seems as though this is intended to travel with you. It's got a really small footprint and it weighs in at only around 520 grams. It comes with what looked like a snap-on hardshell case top, but it's more of a dust cover. You can move it from cover mode to a tray. The board sits in it. It still allows cutouts for the cable and access to the touch strip. It's lined with ROG logoed rubber as well and has its own rubber feet for use when it's in tray mode. It also looks pretty fire as well with this cross-grain brushed aluminum look. Now what this doesn't do is snap securely in place. I thought you could like snap this on the top and then it would create like a hard shell cover that you could just throw into a bag. But it doesn't do that, which is confusing to me because essentially it just turns it into like the world's fanciest dust cover. There's not much else in the box minus a thin braided USB-A to USB-C cable and a desktop extender for the wireless dongle like you'd see on any wireless mouse. Wireless here is 2.4 gigahertz and the dongle stows neatly on the board itself in a little magnetized slot when it's not in use. You also see the center set USB-C port for the detachable cable. Now if you're not familiar with small form factor boards, the 65% layout means you're gonna go small and compact, but you still have dedicated arrows and an additional column of 4 keys on the far right. There's no blocking or spacing here either, which means all your keys are grouped together. That plus really thin bezels and floating switch design makes for a board that feels really minimal, which I like. The unfortunate side effect of this design though is that there are numerous keys here that are non-standard. A lot of them actually. Backspace, the backslash, the enter, the right shift, spacebar, all unique to this board. So replacing them with an aftermarket keycap set is a no-go, and that is a big strike against this board. Luckily the keycaps here are double shot shine through PBT, and I don't think long-term durability is going to be an issue. The font definitely comes down to personal taste, as it's going for like futuristic and gamery. I can say that the lighting looks good and consistent though, with very few exceptions like the tab key and the lowest edge of like the Z and the C where you get just a little shadow from the stem. You also get pad printed side legends to help you navigate the small form factor for various shortcuts, lighting modes, media controls, etc. The escape key also has like a glossy ROG logo as well. The legends on the far right side do have a bit of an OEM vibe to the font, and I'm not crazy about the visual clutter with all the side printing going on. Switch choice again is limited to Cherry MX. Thanks so much for watching, guys. See you next time. You get red, brown, blue, or speed silver. This one came with reds. These don't feel like the retools either. They feel exactly like what I expect a cherry red to. So because of the unique sizing on these keycaps, you're only gonna have stabilizers on the enter, the space bar, and left shift. And those stabs are the dreaded co-star stabs. These are always challenging to work on because of the design, and while they have visible factory lube, they are still really rattly. Between the stabs, the obvious lack of any noise dampening material, and the Cherry MX switches, all I get are generous helpings of both ping and rattle. On the left side of the board, you also have a touch panel with little dot LED indicators. This has control for swipe up and down, plus tap for high, low, and medium points. This comes default as volume controls, but you can set these up to be whatever you like. I have mine for volume up or down on tap, mid tap is mute, then I can zoom in or out with swipe. The swipe gestures work easy, but it does take some practice to get a handle on where exactly you have to tap without looking to get the desired result for tap effects. The color of the indicators and the light bar on top is actually the battery level by default, which I really like. Smart design. You can also set it to follow the lighting scheme of the board instead. You'll also find the indicators for caps lock and Windows key lock there. There's also a shortcut to temporarily lock out input on the touch bar in case there's certain times you find yourself triggering that accidentally. This does use Armory Crate software, which didn't seem to cause any conflicts in the test system, but also didn't seem as polished as some of the other big ecosystem software out there. You get a pretty sparse selection of lighting animations here. You can create your own lighting animations, but that actually requires the installation of an additional piece of software. The rebinding is pretty limited as well, as it's only single key, no relocation of the function key, and if there is support for additional layer programming, I can't find it. You do have the option for 5 stored profiles on the board, but I feel like that's held back by the lack of real depth in the keyboard rebinding. Battery life here is rated at a whopping 450 hours with the RGB off. Still pretty healthy with RGB on too. It is nice to have full backlit RGB on a wireless board. You can set the software to give you a lighting alert when the battery gets low, and you can set a sleep timer for inactivity as well. One thing you definitely don't want to sleep on though is today's sponsor, Lustre. Lustre takes a lot of the heavy lifting out of online shopping for you. It's a free shopping tool and browser extension that takes product info, pricing, and reviews from all over the internet and puts it all together in one place just for you. Say you're looking for a new wireless keyboard, for instance. You want to spend around $100. Lustre goes to work and shows you the top 5 best options out there at that price tier. It's the usual suspects: Logitech, Razer, Corsair, and Pro 2. Okay, nice. And these aren't based on Lustre's opinions at all. You can see exactly where they pulled the reviews and the ratings from. Ratings.com, Wirecutter, CNET, you can see any scores or awards and a brief comparison of any important points that set them apart, like a compact layout. You can even click through to read or watch the full reviews if you want to dig a little deeper. They'll also show you the best pricing out there at big retailers and can alert you to sale prices. This saves a ton of time compared to just typing best wireless keyboard into YouTube and watching a couple hours of results. Lustre is totally free. It works right in Google and Amazon. It can save you a ton of both time and money when you're searching for your perfect product. Click the link down in the description to sign up today. Big thanks to Lustre for sponsoring today, and thank you for your time. I appreciate it. So as far as wireless performance goes, in game, it performed like a champ. Surprisingly well, actually. I was able to run it in conjunction with a wireless mouse, no problem. It even stood up to both wireless mouse and wireless headphones. 3 different brands, not a single hiccup. That was definitely impressive. But as far as the value conversation, at $149.99, it feels like a no-go for me. It gets harder and harder for me to review pre-built gaming keyboards because I like to see big brands responding to the competition from the enthusiast space bleeding over into that gaming space. And I really do like to see innovation, but not at the expense of fundamentals. The wireless, it's great. It performs fantastic, especially since it's 2.4 gigahertz and not Bluetooth, which works really well for certain productivity applications, but it's not what I would personally reach for gaming. The touch bar is innovative, if unnecessary. The 65% layout is good to see, but the way it's implemented here makes it basically impossible to have aftermarket keycaps. The acoustics aren't great, and despite being small and light enough to encourage travel, the dust cover doesn't snap into place, creating a hard shell suitable for like throwing in your backpack. The Co-Star stabs, the switch choice limited to Cherry MX, it might do it for you, but it just doesn't do it for me. Not at $150. Not at $100. I think Keychron is going to be the brand to watch. Their K2 is a $99 hot swappable Bluetooth wireless board with better keycap compatibility and stabs that are easier to work on. As always, links down in the description if you do want to get your hands on one of these. Any questions? Hit me in the comments. And that's it for this time. I'm Brian P. Thanks so much for watching. Don't forget to hit that like button, hit that sub button, and until next time, stay up.